I now convene this meeting of the Police and Employment Committee at 6:40.
I'm gonna ask if Mary, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, we're gonna ask that the bus CDL pay scale be brought on the agenda first, so that Mary can get out of here when she's done. Introduce you Mary Murphy, she's the director of our transit system, and she's got some suggestions as far as pay for the CDL drivers out there at the bus system.
So I have a copy of that.
It's in your packet, right? It's the last 2 pages in your packet. Should be these spreadsheets.
Yeah, I got you.
Let her rip.
All right. So recently we have advertised to hire a bus or a couple of bus drivers because we're awfully short-staffed over there. We lost one of our bus drivers to the garbage department. And we had still kind of been using him here and there because we are short-staffed. And then we were told that we were trying to avoid overtime hours. And I am trying to do so, but it's kind of hard to get people to apply. Our CDL drivers start at the bus shop at $12.50, but the garbage truck CDL drivers get $16 starting out. So we've actually lost a couple of other drivers to different organizations and, such because they can make so much more somewhere else with a CDL. So I am proposing that we we only have 3 bus drivers out of all of our 15 that are at the $12.50. So I am proposing that we move them to 16 and then have the 50 cent step increase if they have their passenger endorsement as well.
Can I ask you a question? How
Sure.
did this disparity happen between the bus and the town? I mean, I realize that you all on different budgets, but we're paying 16 and you paying 12.
No, she's paying 16 for the majority of them.
Right.
Right, so yeah,
There's 3 positions that are 12.
right, because they don't have a passenger endorsement. But they do have a CDL. So I'm just proposing that, so if the town is on the CDL gets a 16 flat, I am just proposing that our CDL drivers as well get the 16 starting instead of the $12.50.
What do the endorsement include? What's the difference? I
So-
asked it before.
The passenger endorsement allows them to drive a bigger bus. Without the passenger endorsement, they can only drive a 15-passenger bus. So a lot of our buses are around 15 passengers or under. So it's not a huge, deal if they don't have it. But the difference is just that they can drive a bigger bus.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
I think that we will take this before council at our next meeting,
Okay.
and I have some issues with this.
Do you have a recommendation for council?
I have a recommendation that they approve this, but we need to do some talking before it happens. Because you just said a man just left the garbage truck and went to you.
Well, I think it was opposite. I think
Yeah, no, he left the bus department and went to the garbage department.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I recommend the council that we approve it.
okay. I appreciate it.
Do you have a second, Carolyn?
I second it, but we have to get approval because Lonnie is not here, Mr. Morgan.
You have a quorum. You can pass the recommendation on to council, and then council can go back and talk about it some more.
Okay, let's do that, yes. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I think the next thing where we have a significant number of folks here is the DBI Tourism and Community Development Position. And I think in your packet, you've got 3 documents. One is a job description that was prepared in response to, I guess, the original council's intentions that were presented to during the budget process. And there's a job description in there, and that's the first one that has the town's letterhead or seal on the top. The second document that's included in your packet is an agreement that I think Field presented to Jennifer today, yesterday. And that was an agreement that would dovetail more with the job description that is behind that, which was prepared by DBI for the position. I think there's really just one, I think all the job description stuff can be handled.
I got one too.
But I think there's really two big items that need to be resolved. Is this a town position or is this a DBI position? And as far as supervision and as far as salary and benefits and all those kinds of things. I think the budget included 50,000 salary, up to 50,000 salary and benefits. And I think initially when this was proposed, it was going to be a town position. I think the mayor even made an appeal about that. I think that Field may want to address the committee with some other options. And
You know, I'm looking at our job description, and these two jobs are two different jobs. So, I was telling Mr. Williams, the tourism should be one job, and the community development would be another job. Because if you look at the job descriptions for tourism job description, it's about 30 items on here. And no one man can do that. No one man can do community development and tourism.
are you proposing hiring two people?
No, what I'm
Oh.
saying is, my idea was if we could go ahead and hire a tour director and then let you all do the community development.
That's fine. You can leave it like it is.
Right.
I mean, they've got
I
a
mean, I don't
part-time director position.
Because if this man, lady, or whoever does this, if they do this job, by the end of the week, they'll be, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, the job description that I was given from the town, it seemed like, I thought there was a position already doing a lot of that stuff.
What you mean?
The job description that was put together by Jennifer.
Okay, then I have one here too, and anybody's welcome to look at it. And what I'm saying is about 30 bullets on here. And, and this here is more dealing with your tourism director. He mostly works with tours. And it says creative message development, designing, printing, and marketing publications. It's a whole lot here. So I'm recommending that we leave it as it is, as far as DBI, and then this tourism goes to DBI, and the other community development will stay where it's at because they're writing grants anyway here.
You're talking about, you're saying that the town already has a position.
The town's already has a position that's doing this community development. So my thing is,
That's what I said, some of the stuff,
Right.
whatever Jennifer Hardy wrote up,
So-
it looked like you already had someone doing a lot
right,
of
so
that
what I'm
stuff.
saying is, the tourism job should be by itself. I mean, this is what I say,
Separate from DBI or DBI and tourism together?
I'm gonna bring that up in a few. I'm gonna let Colonel G. Wood say.
I'm just looking over everything because I'm just seeing it for the first time, and I'm new at this. Because the question I asked last time, when we met last month, is do we feel we needed, when I met with the DBI committee, did we felt that we needed a full-time position for this, and everybody says yes. But I'm like, Mr. Miller, I'm looking at two different things.
I'm gonna participate a little bit. I'm participating as a citizen, so feel free to tell me to be quiet. I'm not trying to hijack the meeting at all, but I think that the community development, that original job description is just a little, it's probably stale by now. I think that the position has evolved through a lot of thought and a lot of work to get away from that and go more towards a solitary funded DBI position. Now that position would be under the town, but that's only so it can be competitive with other positions and so you can receive benefits. Now, so that town council can still have some say over it, that comes with a pretty strenuous performance agreement that dictates funding. So if DBI does not meet that performance agreement, then that then you, it comes back to council to decide whether to keep it or not.
That's
And
the
then-
document I added that you got today.
Huh?
When we were here together, I said I would work on the agreement between the town and DBI,
That's,
and that's what I sent back. We all have today, the performance agreement.
I think, I mean, being that I brought this up, and again, same with Jake, if you, just tell me to be quiet if you want me to.
be quiet.
I think we're getting too far into the weeds of what the original purpose of this position, whether it be town funded, DBI position, whatever it be. My goal was to have somebody that oversaw the economic development, which means helping strive and bring businesses, not just to downtown, but across Blackstone, to help organize events across the whole entire town. Just the go-to person. Blackstone's growing to where it needs that. I just feel like we rely on these other organizations, and we can't complain because we don't fund them like they're due. So I think that's where my goal has been to properly, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. Let's not halfway do it. Let's go all out.
And
Mr. Maris, what you just brought up is in the job description for a tourism director. Everything you said, if you look on this paper, and like you said, marketing, and it also has
It's in
what the
depth.
DBI is supposed to interchange with the chamber.
And it's not just directing tours at the museum and such as
Right,
that.
right.
This is a far greater, I'd like to see this person help brand Blackstone.
And if you look at DBI's history, even last year being, I would consider underfunded. It was a part-time position that was it $36,000 we were given to it? It returned over $90,000 worth of grant money to the town. The position's already paying for itself as a part-time position. If you look at DBI's history, I can't remember the exact figure, but there's something over the years they've returned somewhere around $4 to $5 for every dollar that the town has given them of funding that they've gotten.
That was in the document I gave you last.
They gave us a very detailed summary of everything that they done last month. It was very good because I read over it when I got home.
If you look at all the other successful entities that have done DBI positions before, or done a Virginia Main Street program, that performance agreement was tailored off of about 8 from around the community, everywhere from Lynchburg to Appomattox to might have to help me, Arlington, a lot of
Vista.
big growing communities. So then we know this model works, and we'd like to continue to do it. And instead of doing it at a part-time position, we'd like to do it at a full-time position. And it's of my opinion, for the position to work, we need to get out of the weeds of having town council manage everything and just manage the expectation at the end. So again, if the performance agreement is not met, then you know we can cancel the funding. But until then, let them manage themselves and be successful at what they're good at.
And I think DBI, if this position is funded by the town, whichever direction, by donation to them still or whatnot, or agreement, the goal is to cast a net over the entire town. And I know downtown Main Street program can only get grants for certain blocks. But, the field knows that my vision is that this incorporates all businesses, all areas of
And this is,
Well, a tourism position would be.
Correct.
Tourism
I
is
agree.
not
Right,
in the
right.
little downtown,
Correct.
so, absolutely.
yeah.
And
but we
there'll
gotta
be-
make sure we get this tourism, whoever we are.
Sure.
We need to make sure that this tourism guy knows what's going on and knows what's expected of
But
him.
we're already doing some tourism efforts, you know, the website is not for just the historic
Oh,
business
yeah,
district.
the garden
ordinance.
center's on the website.
Right, it's for the entire town, so they're already, you know, we've been working on a tourism plan, and that's been in the works for years, and they have the website, so definitely all those things. The Main Street organization is limited only with a few things.
And if you look at that performance
So-
agreement, it talks about vacancy of buildings. That vacancy of buildings does not just include the downtown business district. That includes all of Blackstone, and that's one of the key things in that performance agreement, where we expect a 25% reduction in vacant buildings, or, in a lot more political terms on there, a evidence to show why that didn't happen. Are we in COVID 18.0 or whatever number we're at now, or has there been significant economic downturn where that just wasn't possible?
I understand, I see right here it says, oversee the employment of full-time executive director to support and pump the economic vitality and sustainability of Blackstone. Annual performance reviews to be conducted by the board executive committee and will include performance feedback from the town. The executive director will be eligible for all across-the-board compensation adjusted consistent with all other town employees. DBI will pay for all the travel and job-related expenses.
Right, they have training and things that they go to, that they have to continue to
My
work
thing
their
is,
position.
is this gonna be a town position or is it gonna be a DBI position?
In essence, it's gonna be a DBI position. And the only way reason it's even considered a town position is so we can get somebody good in the chair and offer them town benefits. That's at the end of it. Now, town has a vote. There'll be a town council representative that will be part of the board, so they will have a vote on DBI's board of directors. So that we will be they'll work with us.
That's what we want,
And,
an active partnership.
Yeah, it'll be a very active partnership with monthly reporting and quarterly finance reporting.
Okay, so my question is, everybody agreeable with what we're saying? We're saying, of course, we can't make no decision tonight, it's gotta go before the full council. In other words, keeping the tourism to DBI and the community development here. That's what I'm
Think so.
saying.
I think that we're making pretty good strides with our community development that we have.
Right, so,
And to be quite frank, I don't think we need any more people. I
Right,
think we
we don't
should
need
let
to hire
DBI
any more
handle it and then hold them to it with a performance agreement.
right. Now, so, what I don't understand about this $50,000. Okay, what does the town do? They just give DBI $50,000 and,
I think in order for this person to receive benefits, it's gonna have to be a check cut from the town of Blackstone to this individual, am I correct?
We would pay them just as a payroll.
Correct.
It'll be on the
Be a payroll,
It'd be on payroll.
be a payroll
But
position.
contractually, they'll answer to the DBI board of directors. They'll be being paid through the town of Blackstone, but contractually, they will answer to the DBI board of directors. And if you notice at the end of that performance agreement, for any reason, it gives the council pretty good leeway for any reason we can cancel. But part of it is for us to get out of the way, let what works in all these other 8 very successful communities work how it is. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's working everywhere else.
I agree with that.
As the board, a board member, do you see where DBI can improve vastly from the current state that DBI is acting on the behalf of the town of Blackstone with this
Yes.
additional funding?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. I mean,
Person's part-time.
what was the question?
Agreed.
Yeah.
What was the question?
I wanted to ask her, did she see that there could be great, vast improvements from what DBI offers the town of Blackstone now to what they could if we had this full-time position?
I think if we both support each other, absolutely.
Is this gonna be an advertised position? Cause a lot of positions, sometimes we hire within,
And
so we're advertising. And then who's doing the interviewing? Is this gonna be DBI or town?
I think,
I would ask DBI to do it. For the one thing is, we have enough pressure from everywhere else, say hire this person, hey, hire this person. I'd like to turn it loose to somebody who's not an elected official, and then we, as council, have a veto at the end of that. If we decide that we absolutely do not like this person, then we'll veto and say try again.
So I think Jake's saying, if they get down to 2 people, bring the 2 before the council,
right,
present them to us and say, hey,
right,
these are
this
yours.
is what we're doing. And
I
then
think
let
that's a
us
wonderful
interview
idea.
'em. Yeah, let us y'all, whoever y'all send it to, let the employment and police, committee or the town council, the whole committee interview those 2.
Sound fair?
Sure.
I think that'd be great.
Alright, is there anything else that y'all wanna discuss besides this? Do you don't think,
Happy with that?
are both parties agreeable to what we discussed tonight?
I guess,
Council? I
yeah,
mean, you
you'll
can't
ta-
vote on
you'll
it
take
tonight.
it to
You
the
can't
full
vote on
council.
it.
We'll take it to the full
And then we'll
council.
advertise,
Just
we'll,
a citizen.
What I'm taking to the full board is that we leave the tourism job to DBI, and we leave the community development in this office here. And then, That's basically, you know,
Tourism / economic development. I think we need to make sure it's not just tourism in the title.
It's in the.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that,
Yeah, it's in the agreement.
okay.
I thought originally, because I'm still new and I ask a lot of questions, I thought originally we was trying to combine 2 positions into one, but Miller, you're proposing we keep 2 separate ones.
right. And I'll tell you why. I
So
say
then that can be still 2 separate budgets,
Well, you already got one that's performing the duties of
Right.
the community development.
And I think that position's being successful, and I hear a lot of new grant opportunities. Another reason to strongly consider doing this, going through with this DBI position separately is the Virginia Main Street program, where all of this stemmed from, is getting a large bump in budget this year for grant money. So
Right.
it'd be a great year to be aggressive with going after it.
This job description I got from New County, and this was from the chamber, and it said that. And it says also he works with, coordinated with the chamber president to provide current and updated information to the press. Represent the city and county in joint planning sessions to establish tourism activity, serve local communities that enhance tourism and foster economic development. So, I'm gonna recommend to council that, we keep the 2 jobs separate, and DBI will be in charge of the tourism, and we're gonna take the, economic development. You
Community
agree?
development.
Community development.
Huh?
Community development.
Community development, okay,
Can I ask a question as a citizen?
yes.
All right, if DBI is gonna take over tourism and economic development, where does Virginia Main Street, does that still stop at urban and community development from the town aspect goes down all the way to 46? The businesses, you know,
You
down
talking
those,
about, should the downtown Blackstone cover the merchants on the other end of town?
yeah,
There are certain things that DBI can do for the other merchants on the town. They're bound by some handcuffs by the Virginia Main Street program, depending on where the funding's coming from. There's a district that they can operate certain grant money in, but that doesn't mean that it can't benefit all districts in the town, such as advertising for vacant buildings. When a new vendor comes to town, if that vendor doesn't fit downtown, hey, we got some buildings down here next to Food Line, we got some buildings across from Clay's.
Or it doesn't mean
We
that
do that now.
or it
I
doesn't
mean-
mean that this economic developer can't seek more grants for these areas that are not served by Virginia Main Street.
Let me ask you a
We're
question.
not
Let me ask you a
binding to
question.
only have one grant association, which is Virginia Main Street.
Right.
I'd love for them to seek grants for
For
other
places.
economic development opportunities.
But my question is, does DBI do anything with the business south of town?
I think this agreement's going to bind them to.
We
Right.
do,
Do so.
yeah, I mean, if we have educational opportunities or anything like that, absolutely, sure, they're all welcome. Carolyn's on our board, she's not in the historical business district, my business is not in the historical business district, or, so.
And I feel like I've benefited greatly from DBI. They've been in my office and interviewed me, and when they had a series of, little videos they posted, and I'm one of the biggest supporters of DBI, and I'm not even in the district.
Because a strong downtown district benefits the whole town, always, it's proven. So, their model is for the little downtown, but we expand out and do things to try to benefit everyone, so. know,
So
we're
you have
doing-
seminars with all the businesses in town, or
Invited to-
everyone is invited?
Absolutely.
How do you publicize that to all the businesses? Is it word of mouth, or you put it in the paper, or?
Yes, Facebook or our our e-newsletter or things like that in the past.
Now, I have heard that a lot of people say they don't know what DBI is doing
Well,
because
I
they-
think a
they
lot of this
can't.
will be rebranding kind of DBI, not saying we're gonna get rid of DBI, but kind of let it know that this is a town entity working
Right.
with DBI, that this is a full inclusive organization. So that way, some of that, like you said, oh, we can't work with DBI because you're not downtown. If you're an active business owner, you know that you can work with DBI, I'm sure. but there's a lot of outsiders that are, hopefully will come in to Blackstone.
So
Are we, trying to get any business, being that we talking about the community development and all of this, for that, vacant Huddle House building that's been vacant forever? I'm just asking.
Building's got a curse.
I think the lease agreements on that building are astronomical. I think that's your issue.
Oh, okay.
Which building?
Huddle House.
Huddle House.
I think there are some financial entanglements. I think that, we've been notified that there was a bankruptcy with that building at one time, and I think that they're tied up in a financial mess. I think they have a pretty substantial utility and possibly a tax bill that they still owe to.
It's actually owned by the people that own the shopping center.
Is,
Yeah. Harper.
okay. Huddle House or whatever.
The building itself, the property, is owned by that entity.
But the company that
I
was
will
in
tell
there
you,
operating
in the
Huddle
past,
House.
DBI's tried to work with some vacant, and sometimes the building owners are not,
Oh, yeah.
not
Absolutely.
easy to work with and not,
Yep.
we're not successful in locating a business in there. It's not for lack of trying, so, but I think we need to tell a better story of how we have been doing those things. Hopefully with a full-time person, the reporting will be better and you'll get better feedback, absolutely.
I think that's a must, because I didn't know anything about DBI till I joined the town council.
We put all that
So-
in the agreement, some of that is.
I mean, put it out there for everybody to see it, and then it's our choice to pick it up and read it, but if we never heard about it until we got here.
Well, some of the, when the position went to part-time, some of that kind of fell off, and reporting is one of the things that hasn't been as good, in my opinion, when we had a full-time position.
I think we got another meeting at 7.
Does anybody else have anything? If not, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting at 7:10.
We're here to start the next. Yeah. Well, Amy's not here.
This is a revised estimate, and I can,
I don't have one.
if you look at the front, this tells you everything you need to know. The cost of the armory
Okay,
project has gone up dramatically.
okay,
So,
okay.
when you get
Thank
bored,
you.
that's good.
I'll read it, 'cause I like to read, I'm getting so much paperwork, but I like to read stuff.
Okay.
Before he was up there, he was asking
Hey, Mel, did you get one?
Thank
What's that?
you.
Yeah.
That's the revised cost estimate for the armory. Yep.
It may make your heart beat.
That's a ugly, ugly.
Miller, your papers are all over the place.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
It is, it's all over the place.
No, I was just trying to.
Jennifer says she's coming, because I think the mayor has some